Have you ever looked at a photo of Saturn and immediately thought, how can a planet be that beautiful? Its rings are huge, bright, and look like expensive jewelry. But behind that beauty lies a brutal cosmic tale, full of destruction and a great mystery that leaves scientists shaking their heads. Ever seen Saturn? This planet is unique, not because it's the biggest, but because of its giant rings. Those rings make Saturn look like an aristocratic planet. But the question is, where did those rings come from? Nature or a brutal event? From a distance, Saturn's rings look solid and smooth, but in reality, the rings are made of billions of small pieces. Some are dust-sized, others as big as a house. They're mostly ice, rock, and a little cosmic dust. Scientists used to think these rings formed alongside Saturn, but that theory is starting to crumble, because the rings look too clean. If they were as old as the planet, they should have darkened from space dust over billions of years. So here, a new theory emerges. Saturn's rings are suspected to have formed from the destruction of a moon. Yes, a moon. Imagine a moon that got too close to Saturn, then shattered into pieces due to extreme gravity. Saturn has a super strong gravitational pull. There's a boundary called the Roche limit. If a moon dares to enter this zone, its structure can't withstand the planet's tug. The result? Smashed to bits, and the remains become rings. This theory makes even more sense because the ring composition closely resembles water ice, just like the other icy moons around Saturn. So these rings aren't an accessory, but the remains of a rather tragic cosmic accident. But the next question is even more intriguing. If the rings come from a shattered moon, when did that happen? Was it from the beginning of the solar system or an event relatively recent on the cosmic scale? Data from the Cassini spacecraft shows something interesting. Saturn's rings appear to be young, perhaps only a few 100 million years old. Only here means compared to the solar system's age of 4.5 billion years. This means Saturn likely wasn't as beautiful in the past. It's possible the planet once appeared plain, without rings. Then, one day, a moon came too close. And boom, shattered into the most iconic decoration. Uniquely, Saturn's rings are slowly disappearing. Every second, ring material falls into Saturn's atmosphere like rain. Scientists even call this phenomenon ring rain. So these rings aren't eternal. In the next few 100 million years, Saturn could lose its beautiful rings. We live in a fortunate era because we can see Saturn at its most iconic. Saturn's rings aren't a single layer either. There are many layers and gaps, like the Cassini division. These gaps form due to the gravitational influence of Saturn's small moons sweeping certain areas. These small moons act like shepherds. They keep the ring's shape neat, preventing them from spreading out. So even though it looks chaotic, there's actually a really cool order to it. The more we study them, Saturn's rings appear like a living system, always moving, colliding, breaking apart, then merging again, all happening in a gravitational dance that never stops. What's amazing is that something born from destruction becomes a symbol of beauty. A moon that perished ended up creating the most beautiful sight in the solar system. But this story isn't over, because a big mystery remains. Which moon was destroyed? How big was it? And why did that event happen relatively recently in cosmic history? Some scientists suspect a link between shifts in moon orbits and gravitational imbalances around Saturn. Even a slight change can have brutal consequences on a planetary scale. It's possible Saturn's past was full of drama. Moon migration, collisions, and destruction happened slowly, until finally, one fatal moment created the rings we see now. The more we delve into it, Saturn isn't just a beautiful planet, but also a witness to cosmic tragedy. The beauty we admire today turns out to be the remnants of a past cataclysm. In the next story, we'll discuss a deeper mystery. Is Saturn the only one with a dark history like this? And could Earth have almost had rings too? Stay tuned. Let's continue. It turns out Saturn isn't the only planet with rings. Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune also have rings. But why are only Saturn's rings super big and clearly visible? The answer lies in history and gravity. The rings of other planets are thin, dark, and small, almost invisible. Meanwhile, Saturn has thick, bright, and wide rings. This shows that the material in Saturn's rings is far more abundant and likely came from a large object. This is where the shattered moon theory gets stronger. Saturn is suspected to have once had a giant icy moon. Its size could have been close to our moon. When its orbit became chaotic, this moon entered the deadly Roche limit zone. Once inside that zone, the moon didn't explode immediately, but it slowly cracked, split, and eventually shattered completely. The process could have taken thousands of years, continuously producing fragments of ice and rock. All those fragments then got trapped in Saturn's orbit. They couldn't merge back into a new moon because the planet's gravitational pull was too strong. Eventually, the fragments spread out to form a giant ring system. Interestingly, Saturn's size is just right. Too small, the rings would fall. Too big, the rings would be sucked in entirely. Saturn is in the sweet spot to maintain rings for a long time. Now for the crazy question, did Earth ever almost have rings too? The answer is, maybe. Scientists suspect a massive collision in Earth's early days temporarily created orbital debris. But Earth wasn't as lucky as Saturn. The Sun's gravity and Earth's size caused that debris to quickly coalesce again. That's believed to be how our moon formed, not a permanent ring. So, different story, different outcome. Saturn failed to have a large moon, but succeeded in having rings. Earth succeeded in having a moon, but failed to have rings. The universe sure has a sense of humor. Saturn's rings are also constantly changing. Their particles collide, break apart, then freeze together again. So even though they look the same, the rings are actually dynamic and always evolving. Even the bright white color of the rings comes from pure water ice. This is strong evidence that the rings formed relatively recently. Space dust hasn't had time to darken them yet. This means we live in a rare moment. If humans had appeared millions of years earlier or later, we might never have seen Saturn with its iconic rings. On a cosmic scale, Saturn's rings are like fireworks. Beautiful, magnificent, but temporary. One day, all of it will fall into Saturn and disappear. When that happens, Saturn will look ordinary. Still a giant planet, but without its crown. The rings that were once its symbol will only be a story for scientists and telescope images. What's chilling is that all this beauty comes from destruction. A moon perished, and its remnants became the most mesmerizing sight in the solar system. This reminds us that the universe doesn't always create things peacefully. Sometimes, beauty is born from collision, failure, and great destruction. Saturn is proof that cosmic tragedy can produce something that leaves humans in awe, even from billions of kilometers away. Every time you see a picture of Saturn, remember one thing. You are looking at the remnants of a brutal past, wrapped in serene beauty. This planet isn't just an astronomical object, but an archive of cosmic history. Its rings are a diary written by gravity and time. So now you know, Saturn has rings not for style, but because of a dark history that happens to be beautiful. The universe is cruel, but let's be honest, the result is pretty awesome. And if you like stories like this or are interested in similar topics, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. By subscribing, you won't miss out on other exciting content. In the next video, there will be an even more interesting topic. It could be more mysterious, more entertaining, or even more surprising than you imagined. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay updated. Likes and comments also help this channel grow. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.